Night Live chat. Thanks for coming out. We see we got a pretty busy chat already with Bigger Behind the Trigger. What was all that? Is that me or you?
No, that was me.
Okay, Fuzzy Fork 8. Got the Crazy Scotsman on there, and Eagle Eye Shooting, and gun-loving Grandpa Stanley. Glad you guys can make it out. James Pollard's out there as well. So I appreciate everybody coming out. And right now we got Jamie, JH586 with us, and Kyle Lusk. Mooser might be coming out here in a little bit. I'm not 100% sure on that. We'll have to wait and see. He's got some stuff going on around the house. Thomas Pickering, thanks for coming out, buddy. So let's go ahead and go around the horn and say hey and see what we're up to.
Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. Hope everybody's had a good week, and I hope you all have a great weekend. And we're proud that y'all stopped by to talk with us for a little while on the start of your weekend. It's an honor to be here and have y'all joining us. I don't think we say that enough.
Yeah, I agree. It is an honor that anybody wants to come talk and see us. And listen, Vanessa Kitty, thanks for coming out. JCM45, thanks, brother. OPT 25 TTFD, good to see you. Good to see you. Kyle, say hello.
Hi, guys. Thank y'all really for coming out. I know everybody's got other stuff to do on a Friday night, but it really means something to us for y'all to come by and talk to us. Yeah, that part. Oh, I'm gonna put Jamie on a pedestal right quick. I'm gonna embarrass the hell out of him. Happy birthday, Jamie.
You weren't supposed to tell it. Thank you very much, brother.
Yes, sir.
I turned 56 years old today.
Woohoo! That's a nice, good round number. It's a good year for a car, and it's good stuff.
Yeah,
11. Yeah, that was great.
That was my favorite year of the tri-year Chevys.
I've had one, and I've had 156, 157. My dad has a 56. Yeah. Yep. The 55's always been my favorite. I've never had one, so it's kind of a thing. Eventually, someday, maybe. I don't have any time to work on them, though. My Chevelle just sits. I don't get any time to mess with it.
Tell me about this Chevelle. I had a Chevelle.
I've got a 67 Chevelle. It was originally a 283 car, which surprisingly enough, when we got it, this was back in the 80s, when we got it from like John Skin and Flint's used car lot back in the 80s, it was supposed to be a stock car, but it had a 327 in it. So they must have changed the engine, but the engine that was in it wasn't any good. And we're like, well, if we're going to change the engine, then we might as well go home, go big or go home. So we put a big block in it. And my mom drove that for a couple years, and then it got parked, and I ended up buying it, getting it off them. And then that was my car through high school. And then it sat while I was in the military for the first couple years. And then I got it back and took it down here and started working on it. And buddy, it was rough. Starting from the front to the back, both fenders, the hood, the right side door, both rocker panels, outer and inner, the whole floor, both quarter panels, both lower kick downs, trunk floor, back window, filler piece. I mean, everything's been replaced on it. All the metal was bad in it, so it's been rough. I've got all the metal work done, but it's sitting there kind of. Well, I don't have all of it done. There's a little bit left on the driver's side door I need to do, and a little bit of structural work. And then it's just body work. And I just haven't, I'll be honest, I think it's been like it's almost probably almost been 2 years since I've last messed with it. It just, you get out of the habit of going to the shop and working on it, and all of a sudden it's just kind of dead. But I will get back. So
I had a 72 Malibu 352 barrel. Just a grocery getter.
Hey man, no, that's not those things are nice. I
like that car.
The big bodies are nice. They're when I was young, the big bodies were all the rage. Everybody wanted a 70s-ish, early 70s model. But I was always for the slightly smaller 66, 67. It's just kind of more my taste. But yeah, I really wanted, when I was young, I really wanted what James Pollard has or had was a 67 Camaro. Is what I really, really was after. I was after a 55 Chevy or a 67 Camaro and ended up with the Chevelle. But, you know, being that car went through thick and thin and a lot of my stupid years, man, I can't count the amount of times that I should have died in that car. And somehow or another got away with it. I mean, there was something broke loose in the back, right? Part of the structural member, basically from all the floor being rotted out because of the back window filler. And it looked fine, but it was all fiberglass from where Skin Flint's body shop, you know, had done anything to it. So anyway, a buddy of mine, we go out on a main road here, or not a main road, but it was kind of a real long straight road by my house. Not many people lived on it. And I opened that thing up and I got it strolling and I ran out of digits and I just kept on. And that 396 would never run out of smoke. I mean, the amount of pull that it would get would slow down after probably 120 or 130, but it would still be pulling you. You could feel you were going. Well, anyway, there was a new house that was put up and a guy had just moved in not too long ago. And he was out washing his car. And I blew by his house, went to a buddy of mine's shop, worked on our cars, you know, screwed around. I was coming back home and I get close to the house and somebody pops cherries. I'm like, son of a. So I pull over right by my driveway. I find out it was the guy who just moved into that house. He was washing his car and he had his radar on and he popped me for 147 and a 55.
Damn.
Did he write you a ticket?
Nope. I didn't have tags. I didn't have insurance. I might have had a license at the time. So yeah, that was one of and the problem was when that thing got up about 140, I'm going to guess, it started swaying real bad because there was something busted in the rear control arm spot. So yeah, it was that was one of the dumber, but you know, got lucky and got by.
Eagle sent you a message. You want a 502?
Man, I've actually got the engine to mine all pulled apart, all sitting there. I got the crank done because there was actually a main that was I'm not gonna say spun, but it was starting to. It had a main bearing going bad in it, and I got the cranks done. Everything's kind of sitting there and ready to be put back together. So I've already got a fair amount of money and cams and all that crap for it. So I'm gonna run with the 396 mainly out of sentimental reasons. Yeah. But 502s are great, man. They are great.
I saw a guy
on an engine building party at your house.
Man, I'm telling you.
My buddy's dad's got a 66 Chevelle, and we totally went through that thing, replaced all kinds of steel, floor pans, all that stuff. It was in rough shape. It's actually won several car shows up in Illinois. It's got a 383 in it right now, and he wants to he's got a 402 that he acquired, and his nephew, who does a lot of drag racing, hot rodded it up. And we're thinking it's about maybe 415 horsepower is what he's thinking. He's not sure on the torque. Of course, it's all on paper. It hadn't been put in anything and dynoed, but he doesn't know if he wants to go to that extreme, but it'll be fun if he does. So
400 is a great number. I don't anything over unless it's on the bottle or something. I don't. It's not, to me. It loses the fun of driving it. It becomes a pain. Right. Especially if you're running like stock type tires and stuff like now. If you're running like a pro touring car where you can get that thing slammed to the ground, get all new type suspension, fat meat on it, then you can run 500-600 and drive it all right. But it's going to be bumpy and miserable. But
yeah, this one's not tubbed or anything like that, so it's just got factory meat. We did put a locker in the back that way you could drive it when it rained.
Yeah. Well, back on to reloading. Crazy Scotsman says he got himself a press, brother. I'll be interested, and it wasn't the blue one. So I'll be interested to hear what you got your hands on there, especially if it was that good a deal. I think Jamie got a new piece of equipment there recently.
I did. Where's Uncle Jim when you need him? My wife bought this for me for my birthday present. I got the new Lemongrass Smith powder measure. So I think that's going to be fun. I started putting it together, but I got the book. I'm going to try not to be a typical man and not read any instructions until I tear it up or I can't figure it out. You know how we do.
Yeah, that's the case with me. I have a horrible habit of that, of just like, okay, I'll figure it out. Especially if it's something electronic. Sometimes I'll actually read the manual, but anything mechanical, I'm like, yeah, I'll figure it out.
But wait till you have kids, Nathan, and you get all those toys on Christmas Eve. It makes for a long Christmas Eve night when you're stubborn like that and won't read the directions.
Yeah, I can imagine. My dad has a story of putting a General Lee big wheel together when I was a kid, where he was like putting decals on that damn thing all night long. Finally, he said, "The hell with this!" I went to bed. So I was pedaling around on my big wheel with like half the stickers on it.
I loved my big wheel when I was a kid. Oh, and Kenny Eagle Eye said he wanted to see a burnout when you were talking about your car. And I was at let's see, it was Seasons of Refreshing, one of our CMA functions, and it was down. We always have that down around Warner Robins. And one of the ladies that worked for the church we were at drove up in her new car, and it was a brand new Camaro convertible, and it was the full SS. I think it was red. It was red with white leather interior. It was beautiful, man. And it was sitting there hitting the lick, and me and our state coordinator, Eric, walked up to her and asked her, would she do a burnout? And she said no. And Eric said, well, can I? I'll do it. And I told her, I said, let me drive that thing. I said, in about 1.6 seconds, I can have it facing the other direction for you. And it was a stick shift car. So she did it right, man. And I was proud of her. I grew up with this guy in our neighborhood. He would never drive anything but 68 Camaros. And the length of time that we were in high school, he went through 5 of them in 4 years. So when you guys are out looking for a car to buy to restore and you can't find a 68 Camaro, you can blame Bobby.
That's funny because the 68s were like my least favorite of the 67, 8, and 9s, because it was like the 67, the window vent did something to make the door look shorter and make the whole car look a little bit more stout. And the 68 didn't have the window vent and doesn't have the high body lines like the 69. I was just like, something missing there.
I think one of my favorite old cars, I think it was a 67, but I'm not sure. It was a Cutlass 442, and they were black. Do you remember those vents that were right in front of the door, and they kind of had the front end, the grill matched the shape of those grills on the side of the car? Man, that was just the most awesome looking vehicle I'd ever seen. I think it was a 442. It may have been the Buick Grand National, which was also a running machine back in the day.
Oh, that Grand National was a beast.
Well, especially that 1986 model of V6 turbo.
The twin turbo?
Yes, we had a Buick dealership in town, and they had 2 of them sitting on the front lot. A friend of mine bought one of them, and I said, well, did you get a deal? He said, when I walked into the dealership, they said, don't even think we're coming off the price on the sticker. He paid full bore price for that thing, and man, that thing would burn the rubber off the back tires as long as you'd hold the gas down to the floor.
Yeah, there's a couple cars that I just, man, I'd love to have, but right now, surprisingly, I'm actually quite interested in newer stuff, which I've never been before. So I don't know, technology getting to me, I guess.
It's the new retro style vehicles they're coming out with. They look as good as and they resemble that old body style that we grew up with and we love so much, except for their modern equipment. And yeah, I know.
Yeah. My father's always said if they wanted to start selling cars, build them to the exact specs as the old classic 55, 57s, you know, that kind of stuff, whether it be trucks, cars, whatever, and just put modern day running gear and electronics in them. And I'm like, Dad, you can't do that because it'd be like driving a brick. You only get like 6 miles to the gallon with today's technology. He goes, what difference does it make? You're going to be sitting in traffic anyway, but you look cool as hell.
Yeah. I've always thought that about some of the more iconic type cars, like why somebody, well, I mean, they went out and made bodies. They've made new bodies for Tri-5 Chevys, Camaros, some of the Marsh Rabbits, but I always wonder why somebody doesn't do that. Like, just like, okay, we're going to make 57 Chevys, bam, and we're going to actually go into production with it and see what they can move for. I think it would be neat, but.
Well, I was actually, before I went with Peterbilt, I was a mechanic for Dodge. And I was there when they released the Chargers and the Challengers, the brand new body styles. And I was the one doing all the new car check-ins and all that. And I remember the first SRT8 Challenger, 6-speed, 6.1 liter Hemi, I think it was. And I took it for a test drive. And doing a roll and start in first gear, it almost picked the front tires up. I'm like, whoa, you know, this is going to be fun. And then we started to test the traction control system. And you could take a almost 90-degree turn at 50 miles an hour and stay in your lane. I was like, whoa. And that's when the cops started to look into it and all that. And it was a really cool time to be a mechanic. You got to see all the new stuff coming out, the Viper trucks, the new 6.4 liter engines, and, you know, how they worked on what they built and then made it better and blah, 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 blah. And then the economy tanked. So
Yeah, no doubt. That kind of put a damper on everything.
Sure did on my end.
So, being that you were a Dodge guy, a Dodge mechanic, my uncle Bobby, great guy. He's a diehard Dodge guy. He's got Chargers, Challengers, Super Bs, all of them. I mean, any of them, he's collected.
Sweet.
And I've always wondered, why does Dodge do everything wrong?
What did they do wrong?
Why do their keys move the wrong way? Why do their windows have to roll down the wrong direction? Why is everything with the Dodge slightly wrong?
The same reason a Colt cylinder turns the wrong direction.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you're used to working on Fords and Chevys and stuff like that. You get into the Dodge,
you're not used to working on a car.
Everything's just a little wrong.
No offense, Ford guys.
Well, Willie's used to be a Ford guy. I seen him in the chat a while ago. He said he used to bleed blue. The thing about Ford stuff is their speed stuff is just so expensive and works. Can't argue with that. But, you know, you see a lot of classic Fords redone with Chevy drivetrains, Chevy motors and transmissions. Especially
what I like is the new Ford trucks. They've come out with that heated tailgate. So when it breaks down in the wintertime, your hands won't be cold when you're pushing
it. Nice.
Ouch. I tell you the one, if money was no object, I'd have that. I'd have me a Dodge Challenger with that fast package in it.
They're nice. They're really, really nice.
Well, I want one of them damn Hellcats. If money was no object, I want a Hellcat. The hell of a Challenger. I'll chew that Challenger up and spit it out the exhaust.
Oh man, I don't know. I think if money's no object, I start getting into sports cars. I want something that I can.
How did we start talking about cars? We're not supposed to be.
I don't know. Yeah, we're reloading people, right? We're supposed to talk about reloading and such and guns. And all of these cars we're talking about, we have to find a way to be able to conceal carry in it. So there you go.
That's not a problem. Hell, they're all solid steel. Just hook a magnet. Bink.
Yeah, absolutely. And if they're an old car, then most likely the glove box was made out of cardboard and is gone. So you can just, do whatever you want to do.
Put a Kel-Tec, a Remington 870, whatever you want back there.
Yeah. Man, so what's everybody been up to? Anybody done any reloading or anything cool lately? Casting? I don't know, shooting?
I just loaded up, actually, while I was waiting on y'all, loaded up a bunch of these 240 grain, Tim Robinson calls them robin eggs. Loaded up a handful of those with a couple of different powders that I want to test. Got some trail balls, some unique, The hell else was it?
What are you running?
Actually trying tight group just to see what happens. So,
oh, that's weird. Or at least weird to me.
Hey, Timothy Robinson's putting shotgun powder in 22 casings. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah. What unique reload are you running? Those are 44 the mag cases.
Yeah, hell, I got it wrote down somewhere. I've got the paperwork and everything over there. They're not stupid hot. They're right smack dab in the middle, I think, just to see how it would perform.
My dad had a problem one time where we shot a unique load as a mid-range unique load, and for whatever reason, and I can't quite figure this out, but for whatever reason, that thing leaded so damn bad. Never leaded before. I mean, this was a gun that was shot with plain-based bullets, I think, some of the time, or most of the time, with Magnum loads, and we get a little lead in it every once in a while. But we ran like a 44 special type unique load. That thing leaded like a hoss. I don't know what that was about, but I mean, I haven't. I think I've got a unique load in some of my 44 special stuff. I don't think I have any in my 44 mag though.
I can show you what I was
causing the leading.
I don't know what was. I don't know whether it was a bullet size because we were using a different size or different type of bullet, Kyle. And it's my guess. We were using like a Lee semi-wad cutter, which we hadn't used before. It's my guess that the thing was dropping too small. And we didn't realize it. We just loaded a box with it and ran it through the 429 sizer and just, and shot it. And they were probably too damn small.
I've got a 429 sizer and I don't use it because nothing that I have is 428.
Which is the problem with the Red Hawk because the Red Hawks could be dead nuts on 429. So I would. At least cylinders, well, at least the old ones were.
Mine's 430 or 430 and a half, and all the cylinders are exact.
So you're having. I mean, is your powder coat getting them big enough to fit tight in your cylinders?
Well, after I size them, because it's dropping. Mine are dropping out of these NOE molds at like 432, 433.
Oh, okay.
So I'm having to squeeze them just a little bit after I powder coat them, but. They're working good. I haven't seen any leading whatsoever at all in the Red Hawk or the Henry. And buddy of mine that likes to shoot what I load, he hasn't complained about any of his. So
that's good. Yeah, the 44 mag is not something I have a ton of experience with. I recently got a whole bag full of brass from MIG, and I'm gonna match that up with something to play with here soon. I did so much with the 45 Colt, the 45 Colt, just because that's what I had, and I had a big body Vaquero that doesn't care what you shoot in it, to some degree, being reasonable.
Right, it's like mine.
Yeah, so I mean, I never really thought like I'm gonna run out and go grab me a 44 mag. It just hasn't. Yeah, it's always kind of been there. I had a special for a while. I'd love to get a 44 special, like. 4-inch Blackhawk or maybe something different. I don't know, GP1, like a GP100 and 44 special. That would be kind of cool, something like that. But I mean, that didn't make my top 10 list. Not even close.
One thing that's on my top 10 list is an SP101.
In 327, I'm guessing?
350. Do they even make one in 44?
I don't think they make one in 44, but I think they did make them in 327, and they may still make them in 327.
Yeah, no, it'd be 357. That 327 is too damn loud.
They are, from my understanding. Absolutely.
If I was going to do that, y'all know I'm a Smith guy. I'd have to get me a Model 60. Scotsman did a video on a Model 60, but I would want one of the older ones. There's my local gun shop that I frequent has one in there, and might make me a trade here soon. But you asked what we've been doing. I've been working on 223 brass. Can y'all see that?
Yeah.
That's the done. Those are done up.
You got them all trimmed and everything?
I hadn't trimmed them yet. Other than that, they've already been cleaned, well, deprimed, cleaned, sized, and I had to use so much lube to size these 223s. I'm going to have to go back and clean my sizing down inside out. Y'all don't forget to do that. It'll cause you to get dents in your shoulders.
Were they reloads or factory rounds, Jamie?
These are range pickups, Kyle.
Oh, so you don't know. Okay.
I don't have any idea.
One thing I've noticed with 223 is, damn, that's an aggravating round to reload, because every time you shoot it, it grows like 6,000. You got to trim it almost every time you shoot it.
Well, man, almost any auto is going to be like that, though, right?
Well, the bottleneck on that is so severe. I mean, 30-06 isn't even that bad, and it looks like a 223 on steroids. You know, 30-06 isn't that bad. It may grow 2,000s. I can trim it back to Sammy spec minimum and get 4 or 5 loads out of a 30-06 round, but you only get maybe 2 out of a 223, and you back to trimming every single one of them. It makes it kind of, you don't really want to do a 30-round dump, you know?
Look at these. Ain't these pretty? These are the nickel. These are all spear. I found, out of all that brass I picked up, I found 15 of those. I'm kind of hoarding them back.
There you go.
I think I'm going to load those with some 65 grain soft points and give them to one of my little buddies that hunts with a 223.
How much 223 brass do you have yet to clean?
Him or me? I've got a fair amount of it.
This much.
Oh, that ain't much. All right. I was gonna say, if you got like a 5-gallon bucket full, you can borrow my wet tumbler and be done in like 4 hours.
I got it's like I probably got 150 more rounds to go, and
Okay,
I probably got 200, 250 in there. What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I got a Folgers coffee bucket full of everything that I've cleaned and sized and all that. I'm just dreading the trimming process. I'm thinking I'm going to get me one of them world's finest trimmers for 223. I've got one for 300 blackout, and it works great. What I'm realizing is, once you size it, reshape it, and all that stuff, you never have to trim 300 blackout again. It doesn't grow. I've got 15 loads on the same piece of brass. It's grown 1,000th, but the neck split due to all the resizing. And I've annealed them and everything like that, but I got 15 loads out of that bastard and the neck split. So what do you got?
You got your money's worth out of it.
Oh yeah, it was well worth sitting there in the wintertime with a chop saw and then resizing everything and then running it through that trimmer. Those trimmers work great. You ever use one?
No, sir.
Little doodad you chuck up in the drill and just hold the drill wide open and go, it's perfect.
Well, I have not tried one at all. Sorry about that.
Once you take the time and get it set up, it is perfect.
Rob said he's not going to be able to make it tonight, guys. So,
Crazy Scotsman, powder drop recommendations. Go ahead, Jamie. Oh, never mind. He's on mute.
well, before we get to that, MCK asked me to talk about the 257 Roberts I have. Sort of have. Okay. And what I got is, guys, I've got a Model 93 Mauser Action that came with, I got a gun from, I was a family friend. I grew up around. It was a guy that was kind of always there and just a really nice guy. Had some bad things happen in life, and this rifle was left next to a door, just left there. And Dickie wasn't exactly the world's greatest when it came to cleaning guns, and he shot some damn corrosive milsurp ammo in it, 7mm ammo in it, and just let it sit. So the barrel in this thing was just junk. And I got it for, I don't remember what I got it for. I got some kind of deal, and I got it from my dad. And I decided I was going to mess with it. So I went and cleaned it up, and I did a lot of file work and stuff on it and got everything kind of nice and rounded and cleaned up the way I liked it. It's drilled and tapped for scope base and stuff. And I got a 257 Roberts barrel. Now, the problem with it is you kind of have to get this thing and a pretty tapered type barrel. You don't get a lot of options with barrels because 257 Roberts is kind of an oddball cartridge. It's not one that everybody uses. And it's a 7mm Mauser neck down to 25. This barrel isn't in the action completely yet. I have not gone through and headspaced it and got the barrel down, which I'm glad, because now I want to go and have the barrel threaded for some kind of, barrel devices. But there's a lot of work left to do on this, bed in the action, a lot of other stuff. And it's been a project on my list for 7 years, and I'll get to it. It's like everything else, though, it kind of has to take its time and become the thing that I'm working on. So it holds up my gun vise, and so that, it keeps reminding me. I don't put it in a closet somewhere, because then I will forget about the damn thing. But yeah, I guess that's why when I saw Buffalo Outdoors, I was like, oh, like, don't blow it up. Like, you can repurpose it. But it's just because I like lost causes or like, what do they call those? Anyway, yeah, it's like an old puppy dog kind of action. It doesn't have a lot of love, because you can't shoot you can't shoot any of the like real high power stuff in it. So something like a 257 Roberts or something along those lines, or 7mm Mauser, which is a great round. It's about what you're going to get out of it. So, yeah, I've had this thing for, I don't even know now. Hell, I don't know, probably 10, 12 years. And eventually I'll get to it, and I'll have videos and all that on it. I've got a Boyd stock on it, which I really like. I just love this stock. I know that some of the long-range shooter guys are going to tell me I'm on crack, but I like how flat it is. I like that. I like where the studs are. So you got 2 different mounting studs for your bipod, or a sling. If you want to use a sling, which I don't think I would. I don't know, I might. But this is going to be more of a groundhog type varmint gun. Nothing that's going to be 1,000 yards, but I'm hoping to be able to shoot 300-400 yards with it, and I'd take down prairie dogs, maybe prairie dogs, but coyotes and other pests. But if you got any questions, man, let me know. I'll put this thing back up.
Scotsman was asking about powder drop recommendations. Nathan really likes his Hornady. Kyle's got the Hornady Auto Charge, and this one came to me in the mail today. This is the one that Uncle Jim did all the reviews on. This is the Lyman Brassmith powder measure. I've not tried it yet, but you guys are certainly going to see it on some of my videos. And about the 223 brass, what I've been working that up toward is doing a little bit of a review, or whatever you want to call it, on my new Hornady lathe style trimmer. It's the Camlock trimmer. Most of you guys probably got one or know a pretty good bit about it, but I'm going to do a video or 2 on that. I like that rifle, Nathan, by the way. I really like that stock.
Yeah, I'm really happy with it. I wanted to go with wood. I thought it would, when it's all cleaned up and it's all done, it'll look better, because I'm going to hopefully find somebody somewhere with some bluing tanks, which is not easy to do.
We got a guy up here.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, we got a guy in Adairsville that blues. He's a gunsmith. His name's Roy King. I'm sure Kyle knows him.
Yes, sir.
He blues in February.
Okay.
So if you can get your rifle up to him before February. Matter of fact, I'm fixing to start a restoration on a Stevens double barrel shotgun for a friend of mine at church. And he's having like primer strikes, so I'm going to have to buy firing pins and springs and all that kind of stuff and replace those. And I'm going to do the wood myself, and then I'm going to have Mr. King do the metal. And Kyle, I got a phone call from Willie just a second ago when I was muted. Willie calling in to the live chat. I should have left the sound on, shouldn't I? I should have put him on speakerphone, what I should have done. Next time I will. He said if you'll get you a RCBS X die when you trim your 223 brass, they won't grow anymore. Maybe Willie can shed some light on that.
Yeah, Tim, thanks for showing up, buddy, at PC Bullet Empire. Glad you can make it out. And Guns and Glory, I don't think we said. Loaded Cap Guns in the chat. MCK is here with us tonight. Big Al, thanks you can make it, man. And I like all the thumbs up hype. I appreciate that. Anybody else here? Measuring Grains in. Glad to see you're here. Hopefully you're not at work. Mention Fuzz.
Oh, Mick's got a bluing tank.
Yeah, I saw that, and I figured I'd end up probably Chico-wise. Glad to make you, not.
Hey, Chico.
Chico, what's up, brother?
Yeah, I figured I'd hit Meg up about that a little bit later on because it's hard, man, when you're having to mail stuff like that. That makes it all much more complicated.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But it might be really, really good for some small stuff. That receiver doesn't quite have enough nickel in it to stay in the white. If it did, I'd leave it that way. Like, have you ever seen an Argentine Mauser? Like, there's enough nickel in the metal, you don't need blue. It just doesn't rust. Shit's like stainless.
K98s are that way. A lot of them.
Yeah.
I think that's cool.
All the bluing will wear off of a K98 and it still doesn't care. It's like, yeah, I don't care. I used to be blue and I used to be very pretty, but now I just am a tech driver. And Eagle Eye giving me crap about my not going out and shooting my my K31, man. I totally feel you on that. God, I need to get out shooting. The rain stopped me, and then work has been just something. So yeah, it's been a hell of a lot of excuses, brother.
Willie, take it easy on him, man.
Yeah. I got to tell y'all something. I was at a CMA meeting last night in Marietta, and I got a notification through YouTube, and I'd sent Chico a message. He came and met me last night. It was great to finally meet him in person. Chico, you got my number. Send me a text and let me have your number, and we'll see if we can get him on here. You reckon he'll show up?
I hope so. Yeah, I'd love to have him on.
I would too.
It is the Georgia Reloaders Network, so.
And he does live in Cobb County.
Cobb, do we count that as Georgia?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
Not in the AM between 6:30 and 8:30. We don't count that.
Well, like Cobb County, we got to count them, and Paulding County, and probably Douglas County, Fulton, Gwinnett, and what's that one just south of there? The one the airport's in. That's still Fulton, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was Fulton. Yeah,
I think that's still Fulton County.
But there is one right there off to the side.
DeKalb?
Yes, DeKalb.
Yeah.
Those three counties, we can send them to Florida. They're so liberal, it's unreal.
Man, there was a place. It's gonna kill me. I can't remember the name of the town. Might have been Peachtree or Peachtree City. I think it's what it was.
City.
Anyway, flipping. I mean, the street lights rolled up. Fucking 8 o'clock. That town closed.
And golf carts everywhere.
Flipping gas stations weren't even open, man. I'm like, what the? I was sick. Oh, I felt like hell. And I'm trying to find someplace open, man. And there's nothing. You couldn't get an aspirin. I mean, it was just, that place was just closed. I'm like, this is insane. I haven't seen this since the 80s.
After Jamie saw Chico's last video, Jamie's a firm believer, and he's going to put his chronograph up because only us Georgia boys are man enough to admit when we shoot them. And he's waiting on somebody from another state to shoot theirs before he gets his chrono out again.
That's a fact, Jack. Hey, let me show y'all this thing about this. I've not even used this thing yet, but check this out. When you say you got it in your press or whatever, and you reach up here to pull the cap off, look what happens. Now it's going to come off. Before I did that, this whole part right here came up and out.
Yeah, that's what Jim was saying.
You mean Uncle Jim?
Yeah.
So if you were pulling that off and your powder container came off,
that would make one mell of a hess.
It sure would, brother.
It'd be an impressive amount of curse words that would fall out of my face.
But it's got this baffle in there. It comes with the baffle in there. I guess it can come out.
I wonder if you really need the baffle, because that seems to be everybody's problem with cleaning it.
No, you absolutely need a baffle. Absolutely. Especially if you're going to run it on a turret press. But yeah, the baffles are great, man, because they keep that constant pressure. Now, what's funny is the baffles, as far as I know, the baffles started in Lyman powder measures, but Lyman powder measures, the 55 and that one, had that little shorty reservoir, which doesn't have as much weight to it. Now, if you got like the Hornady one that's this tall, you get 3 pounds of powder in that sucker, man, that makes a heck of a lot of difference as that powder is going down. But yeah, Rick Lander, thanks you can show up, buddy. I appreciate it.
Just my initial impressions on this, and I know I'm going to get them started in the chat room, but what can I say? I was expecting it to be bigger.
Yeah.
A little smaller than I was expecting. And I think that's got to do with the short tank that you were talking about. But
yeah, they do have a shorty on them.
It'll hold what, about a half a pound, 3/4 of a pound?
No, half at tops.
Okay.
I think they're supposed to be half pound, which means they come in a little bit less than that, unless you're wanting to fill it up pretty close to the top, which I wouldn't do.
Never do that. I never fill mine up more than halfway.
Well, then it's not much of a difference then. Just fill that one up to the top.
I like the way that Uncle Jim figured out that the Hodgdon or IMR powder jugs with the metal caps fit perfectly on that thing. So you don't have to mess with the chance of maybe pulling the reservoir off. Just pick the cap up.
James Pollard says his Hornady throws worse with a baffle. Man, it is funny how I don't know if it's technique sensitive or what it is, but I've heard from so many different people since I've been a proponent of the Hornady powder measures. You know, Charlie Bradstuffer said that he wore his out, which I don't know exactly. I mean, I know the parts he was talking about that slide, but I've never had any like wear noticeable. I've run baffles in mine, and it's just so accurate. Like or consistent. I mean, if I get a tenth of a grain off, and I throw with Unique a lot, I'm like, oh wow, that's strange. Like, cause it's usually so dead nuts on. So I don't know, man. Maybe it's whichever insert you use. Maybe, you know, I tend to like to use the micrometer ones. I don't know.
I generally run the Dillon powder measures, and they've got a built-in baffle in the measure itself, in the glass. The Lee Auto Disc is throwing real consistent no matter what I throw through it. The Lee Auto Drum is real consistent. I'm actually going to give Jamie this Auto Disc and the fine metering adapter for him to test out and do a video on. There's just no reason for me to do a video on, because I can throw the disc in there and it drops exactly what I want every time. It may not match exactly what the specs are from Lee, but it's the load that I want. I'm looking for 4.4 grains, and I think the book says it should be 4.6, but it drops 4.4, and that's what I'm looking for. So,
yeah. You said fine powder measure. Reminded me, like I saw Fortune Cookie's posted more videos. It seems like on the Reloaders Network, like he's posting all of his videos possibly on TRN, even though they're not going on YouTube like public. I appreciate it. I'm actually getting back to watching his videos. Dad, yeah, I totally think so, man. Those baffles seem to make a heck of a lot of a difference, because if I pull that baffle out, even when I was using the old Lyman 55 that I had, I had a baffle in it, and it made a pretty big difference. Now, then again, if you only fill the thing up this much, then it didn't make any difference at all. But yeah. RCBS not being consistent. That's strange. JCM. I mean, Dad has one of the old, probably mid '80s ish RCBS. I mean, they haven't changed the design that much, and it'll cut sticks and stuff like that, but it seems to be pretty consistent. Huh. It's funny. Powder measures are a strange thing, man, because like I think everybody finds one that they like and then they stick to it. And there's probably not that much difference between any of them. They all kind of do the exact same thing, except for possibly the Lee with the auto disc and stuff. That's a little bit different. And the Dillon seems to be just a very nice design. But it's just funny. All the old barrel type, they're all pretty much the same. It's just trying to find one that you like.
Hey, Scotsman, you talking about the auto powder measure? The auto trickling this?
Yeah, those things take a bad rap, man, but I'm telling you, if you read the instructions and you set it up correctly, those things are near flawless.
Yeah, there's an unlimited amount of settings, but every now and then you have to hold more than one button down, and then you can fine-tune that thing. And I've got a preset. Scotsman, I got a preset for my 308. You can store presets in there, so it'll preset the trickle rate, the start trickling time, and all that. And I haven't had an overcharge since. But I took the time and read the book, and I just go shift 2 when I'm loading my 308, and it's going to load 41.9 grains. And it's going to start trickling it'll slow down the fast trickle at 39. And then by the time it slows down and it starts trickling, it'll go, eek, 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 and it's done. It's just taking the time to get used to it. It's just like anything else. The RCBS guys love the RCBS. The Hornady guys like the Hornady. You just got to figure it out and get to know it. Don't just pull the sumbitch out of the box, plug it in, and hit charge and go, piece of shit. No, because that's not the way it works.
It's absolutely how it works.
No, that's not how it works.
ACM, I agree, brother.
They give you the manual. If these instructions weren't important, they would not include the manual.
Now, we were talking about cars earlier, Kyle. You ever read an owner's manual?
No, but I've read a shit ton of TSBs and repair manuals and everything else.
For all kinds of stuff you don't own. Now, that is a very complex machinery. We don't even bother with the manual. It's the way it works. Nobody reads a manual. But I agree with JCM. I use a lot of Unique and Red Dot as well. And I've had good luck, though. I don't know. It's just maybe I'm just not as fine-tuned. Maybe that's it. Maybe I'm not having good luck, but I'm just sloppy enough to not notice.
Hey, Scotty, I'll do a video on CFE 223 for you with this Hornady powder measure. I'll get everything tuned in and all that and show you what it does. It only takes about 5 minutes to get all your settings right, and you just charge fast as you can load.
Yeah, the trick there is with that Hornady powder measure, that auto charge, it beeps. Charge is ready. You take it and you dump it in the case with your funnel. Stick it back underneath there, and it automatically starts dropping again. Then you take that case you just put the powder in, seat your bullet, crimp it, and it's beeping again.
The next charge is ready. Yeah.
The next charge is ready. That's about how long it takes, and it works out well.
Jamie, I think you've seen me do it.
Well, my buddy Dale's got one, and when we were working up 30-30 loads, he brought it over, and that's the way it worked. It worked out real well. And I would say to Scotsman that when I've not been doing this long enough to have established loads really in anything. I'm still working on loads for everything like I'm doing for my 35 Remington. I'm doing that for all the guns I have, and I didn't realize how many guns I had until a friend of mine started inquiring about which ones of them I wanted to sell. I told him I didn't want to sell any of them, but for the right amount of money, anything's just about for sale. You got to be careful with that, though, guys. If you put a price on something that you don't want to get rid of, it might be gone. But that happened to me with my my Ruger P95. Y'all ever shot one of those? Y'all know what I'm talking about?
I missed my P93.
But yeah, I put a price on that. It was a 45. They're going after guns. Y'all, they leave me all by myself. We're in such trouble. But yeah, Scotsman, I think once I get my loads established that I really want to do, I think at that point I'll be depending on my chargers, my dispensers better. And it's a weird thing because you guys correct me if I'm wrong, and I probably am. Yeah, Scotsman, I love my P95. I wish that's one I let get away. I wish I still had. But you guys know more about this than I do. But this is my thinking. All powder measures, no matter what, except for these weight dispensers, like I'm talking about these kind, even the dippers with Lee, all work on a volume type basis. But we measure in grains. So yeah. Yeah, Mig, pick up there, buddy. So when we're expecting our charge to weigh a certain amount, that's not how these work. They work on a volume type basis. So obviously you're going to have a little bit of give and take there.
Humidity and temperature and everything else is going to affect it.
As far as how much is in that reservoir there, how much pressure is down on it. It'll be more at sea level than it or less at sea level than it would be one way or the other at altitude. So guys like Uncle Jim living up in the mountains, if he brought that down to like where Nathan and them lives, he'd probably have a 0.2 of a grain difference on something like that.
Now,
but is my thinking right?
Yes.
Yeah, your thinking's right. It'd be about 0.2 heavier down here than it would be up there. And Mr. Pollard, that's the reason that I'm giving Jamie or letting Jamie use that powder disc is because I'm going to try the powder drum. I've got the powder drum on my 223 Loadmaster, but I'm going to try it on the 9mm and 40 Loadmaster because I was really impressed with the accuracy of this auto drum. So I bought another one, and I'm going to put it there. I wasn't going for guns. I was going for gear.
Me too.
My auto drum works good, except for with really, really, really fine powder, and it pours out of there like a sieve, man. And you can get different drums, and different drums will fit in there better for some powders. So all you do basically is find the drum that does not leak with the powder you want to use, and then you mark it some way or another. Get yourself a silver Sharpie and write down that powder on that drum. And Fortune Cookie did a video on that about a year and a half or maybe 2 years ago. One of the first videos I watched.
Now, talking about powder measures, my favorite powder measure I've ever used is this one. It is a Lyman AccuMeasure. The problem with this powder measure is that I only have the three. It uses inserts. I've only got the 3 that I got with it. There's like a whole kit, but I can't find it anywhere because it's out of date. This thing, like I took one of the inserts and I kind of bedded it with epoxy until I got exactly the amount of weight of unique that I used in my 45 ACP loads. And this thing threw really surprisingly accurate. And one of the things that I think now Fuzzy loves his scoops. This thing works just about like a scoop. There's not much of a difference, man, with the way the little handle works. It's just a scoop that automatically throws as soon as you throw it. It doesn't take anything, and you can mount it on your press. JCM says he gave up on the scoops, but this thing really, I was very surprised at how well this really simple worked. Man, I would love if either one of you guys ever find like one of these kits for the AccuMeasure inserts, let me know, because I would love to have the full set of these. Instead, I mean, I've thought about just going and getting as many of the bigger ones as I can, and then just epoxy bedding them to get whatever load I want, and then just mark what that load is. Because this thing running on top of a turret runs so well. Like Charlie always talks about making sure that the hopper, basically you don't have the load settling in the actual cavity while you're moving your turret around. And this thing's really good for that, because if it's thrown this way, it's closed off. And if it's that way, it's open. So, I mean, it's really simple and it doesn't want to flip over one way or the other. So this has been one of my favorite oddball powder measures I ever bought. Just unfortunately that the usage is limited. What's up? What do we got, Owen?
I was trying to figure out what what it sounded like is Kenny didn't shoot a chronograph. He shot his powder measure. He had it break off at the tab. Okay. He didn't shoot it. It's some kind of malfunction. But yeah, it was raining down powder. That ain't good.
Yeah, he was saying that on soft-sided cases, like after you anneal them and make everything relax, that like the powder drum and everything could actually bump the shoulder back a little bit further.
Emperor, what do you know about taking a head off a bomb?
Man, my grandmother loved to go out yard sailing, right? Yeah. This is like what she lived for like a decade. And and when you would come over, man, she would have to show you her wares, basically show off her whatever, her plunder. So she comes to me, she's like, look at this vase I got. I'm like, and I'm like, Grandma, that's not a vase. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, you see that little metal thing in there in that screen? She's like, yeah, so the flowers will sit on it. I'm like, no, that's not what that is. That's not what it is at all.
It's a flower, all right.
Oh, Lord.
Bless her heart. Oh, boy.
Hey, Mr. Robinson, what has Ducky been teaching you?
Yeah.
Oh, guys, I don't know if everybody's seen it. Mr. Robinson sent me a tactical ducky.
Woohoo! That way you're not the only one without one.
Do what?
So that way you're not the only one without one. I think Ducky makes an appearance in almost every one of my videos.
I've got him sitting here next to Uncle Jim's little happy face 380 shell.
380s are happy.
He's rude. That's why he did that.
380s are a joy.
Aren't they?
I love them.
Right, until they get mixed up in your 9mm, and then you start loading 380 Magnums.
You know how you fix that?
You sort your brass better?
Don't own a 9mm.
Ooh.
Then wouldn't you be just sorting 9mm brass out of your 380 brass?
Yep. But I can't load it. I can't fit a 9mm in my 380.
Right, but it'll fit right in the die.
Yeah, you usually notice it by then. Like I would think, And what's funny is like I have a 380 that it's like a Bursa, an old Bursa. Speaking of which, on chat, hey, if anybody ever knows or finds a place that's selling old Bursa magazines, let me know.
Call Cherokee Gun and Pawn. They've got them.
Man, nobody has these. These are from these are like 82 or 83 models. The newer ones won't fit.
I understand. Cherokee Gun and Pawn, or there's a place, Jamie, where is it? It's all 53 between Calhoun and Rome.
I don't even know the name of that place. I just know when they're open and where it's at.
Yeah, they're open 5:30 to like 11.
Yeah.
That's where I bought my Henry. I can't remember the name of it. I've got his phone number. Nathan, I'll try to get you his phone number.
All right, thanks. And besides that one, I get to shoot the loaded cap guns Walther, which is really fun to shoot. The gun has a good weight to it. She got me some needle files, and I'm going to work on the back strap a little bit because the back strap on that thing is really, really sharp. And after about 50 through it, your hand starts to hurt, not because the gun's, recoil's too bad, but just that sharp spot. So I like the 380, man. 380 is a good little round. It's a 9mm Kurtz. Big difference.
I'll be honest with you. I carry one with me every day.
See? So how you going to talk shit? You use a 380 more than you use anything else.
I don't reload it. I think I'm going to start.
You should start.
I've actually got some 90 grain hollow points that would probably work pretty good.
Well, I don't ever mean to be mean, man. I may rib a little bit, but I never shoot for being mean. I always try to be nice even when I rib.
I carry a 380 more than I carry about anything else, but depending on what I'm doing and where I'm going, I carry this for everyday real concealment. If I just want to carry concealed, I'll carry one of my 9s or a 40. And if I'm going like on Sunday, I'm going up into bear country, I'm going to take my 44. Of course, I can't carry that concealed. I'll just have it in the door pocket. But
you know what, though? Kyle, you bring up a good point. It's kind of funny with concealed carry, like your little 380, like if you're willing to carry like that little 380 is a pocket gun. Anything you have that has a pocket in it, if you use a pocket holster, you're pretty much so not going to notice it.
Right. It looks like a wallet.
And I don't know how many times down here I see dudes in cargo shorts and T-shirts printing like a big dog because they're carrying some giant-ass 9mm Glock. And it's like, dude, like...
It's just a Galco pocket holster. This grips on the fabric, and the gun goes, whoop, comes right out.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, just get a little pocket gun or something. I don't know. I don't really care personally, but I know other people that do. And it's like, I don't know. It's just... every time they move, the T-shirt goes over top of the gun and then just sits there. And I'm like, you might as well just tuck your shirt in and just be carrying on your hip, brother, because that's what you're doing.
Well, here's a funny story. Today, my entire morning was wrecked because I had to carry one of my mechanics back I had to escort him to the drug testing place because the random drug test he took on Monday was invalid because the girl, when she went to seal the cup, ripped the barcode, and she just grabbed another piece of paper and hand wrote everything in there, and they were like, this is unacceptable. So now, due to our company's regulations, I had to escort him down there. So I'm sitting there, and he comes out, and after he goes in there, and he comes out, and he goes, I can't pay. I'm like, okay. He goes, that ain't the half of it. And this guy's knocking on 60 years old, the best gear guy in the southeastern United States. And he comes back out and starts drinking water. He said, man, they strip searched me because it's a retest. I said, dude, what? They strip searched this guy. And but anyway, I'm sitting there the whole time, and he's sitting there looking at the same sign I am. He goes, because it says no firearms or weapons allowed on the premises. And he just looks down at me and goes, you got that in your pocket, don't you? I'm like, well, yeah, I got out of bed. I've either got this or something else on me at all times.
Dad, you're absolutely right. The 9mm Luger is best when it's in a 9mm Luger. I agree. Absolutely. Dude, I've got a story for you about the piss test. So when I was in the military, right? I'm notorious about not being able to pee on command, right? It's just not my deal. Don't know. Put a couple beers in me, and it seems like it's not a problem. But for some reason, they frown upon drinking when you're, taking urinalysis. So anyway, I have to go in and do a urinalysis, and the only NCO that was above me in rank that could go with me to observe this military is this dude, really nice guy, but kind of swashbuckling, if you get my drift, right? Like, everybody knows this guy's a little different. I don't know, whatever.
Painted, so to speak.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't care. But anyway, this gets funny. We go in, and about the time I get there, my stomach just drops for no apparent, like lunch hit me wrong. And I'm like, Ed, I got to go to the bathroom. And he's like, okay, that's no problem. I'm like, no, you don't get it, dude. I got to go to the bathroom. And you have to sit there. Like, you can't go in the bathroom without. So, yep, there he is in the stall with me. Dude, it was like the most embarrassed I think I've ever been in my entire life. A grown man who's questionable with his, proclivities, having to watch me sitting on the toilet. Oh, it was terrible. But yeah, that's.
You had a 5-point harness on that thing.
Man, I'm telling you, dude, that is military pride right there. You got to find all the bearing you can muster. Oh, sad days.
Well, so Richard came back out and started slamming cups of water so we could get out of there. And then the guy intentionally made him sit there for an extra long time. He's like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. And well, eventually, after him waiting 45 minutes after he told him he was ready to go, they call him back there. And I'm sitting in the waiting room, and all you can hear, are you shitting me? You know, because they wanted to strip search him again. He's like, I ain't left the damn lobby. Anyway, and he goes to fill the cup up and all, and I hear this afterwards because I heard what he said. Because all you can hear behind a closed door is, I'm going to finish this damn piss. Because, I mean, he was floating. His eyeballs were up here. And he's like, I'm fixing to piss in the trash can. I'm fixing to go.
Damn it, man.
Anyway, he comes back out, and he just has his piece of paper, and he's like, let's go. All right. So I take him back to work. And he goes, the whole reason all this drama is there is because that woman messed up the barcode on the original seal. He goes, I don't have a problem that I'm clean. I've been clean for 30 years. It's not a problem. He said, but he went to peel the damn sticker off to seal it on there, and he started to wrinkle the barcode. He said, I looked him dead in the eyes and said, don't you F this up. Because if my boss tells me I have to come back down here for this, I'm going to tell him to kiss my ass, and I'm turning in my resignation. He was so embarrassed.
Dude, I can bet. That sounds embarrassing.
Oh, he had one hell of a day. He got back to work and gave the piece of paper to the boss man and said, I'm going home. He clocked out and went home.
Willie's so sick. Did y'all see that video Willie put out? I think it was today or yesterday. Put like 3 out yesterday, but
I don't know. I watched a couple at like 5:30 this morning.
yeah. He said at one point it was 1 o'clock, so he's going to take his sleeping pill and go to sleep. I'm like, man, that's like 4 o'clock in the morning for us. I'd have to stay up and get ready to go to work.
Right, yeah, I'm fixing to get up, yeah.
Sorry, guys. I hear about the crackle in the audio. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's me or what's up. So I'm trying to kind of
let me mute mine and see if it's me.
I'm trying to adjust my audio a little bit here, trying to turn things down to make sure that I'm not peaking or anything. But
hey, Nathan, did you read that?
Sir.
Back read just a little bit.
I did not give anybody a reach around, and
yeah. No, man, no. 2 messages down from that.
Yeah, Scotty, I'll shoot you a message, brother. I got you. Yeah. Sorry about
Fuzz. Would anyone admit it?
Yeah, no, I don't believe anybody would, brother. I don't believe a darn person would. My small experience with fellows that have been in prison, none of them will tell you that anything went on, but everything went on.
Hey, I have awake teenagers. Give me just a second.
All right.
Oh, well, guys, I tell you, I appreciate you coming out. See if we got anybody new here in the chat. We'll just read down here. Willie Bullet Man, thanks for coming out, brother. Happy birthday to you. Mig, I'm always glad that you're here. Crazy Scotsman, I don't know how you find time, brother. Vanessa came back. Awesome. Glad to see you. We need to get you on chat sometime. Even if you're just like a picture or something, I don't care. Whatever you want to do, we need to get you on here one of these days. And MCK, glad to see you, brother. Guns and Glory. I hope everything is kind of coalescing for you, brother. I know that you're just trying to get started, and tonight we're really kind of all over the place, talking everything from your analysis to cars to old guns that we'll probably never fix up, but it's all part of the show, I suppose. Who else we got? JCM 45. Brother, I appreciate it. I've already started using your turret that you sent me, so I do appreciate that. Tim from PC Bullet Empire. And he also is getting a little bit of audio crack, or was. Dad Philip Metzner here. I appreciate it. Loaded Cap Gun, another of the family members. Glad you can make it. And I know I should start reloading your 380. I've got a whole list of supplies I need to get started in that.
You're going to do that?
Hmm?
You're going to start reloading 380?
Yeah. Well, I collect brass for it on accident, right? Because I just go there and I collect brass. So it wouldn't be that big a deal to get a whole big old box of berries. That way I can just keep 100 of them or so loaded. You know,
man, those berries bullets, y'all can say what y'all want to. I cast too, but man, those things shoot. They shot so good out of my 586. I was amazed. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead and finish reading.
Oh no, I'm just reading through. Eagle Eye Shooting is gonna be here. I'm all for getting what works with what you're doing. To me, I could cast 380s, sure, but if I can buy them, the reason why, I know this sounds ridiculous, but right now with my current lead stash being kind of depleted, something that I'm going to shoot a ton of, like when we go down there and she'll put 100 rounds through that Walther, I'll put another 50 through it. So you go through 150, 200 rounds in a sitting. Man, I'd rather buy the bullets than I would shoot my lead, because my lead supplies will be gone. Where if I shoot 41 mag, I shoot, hell, it's probably the same grainage of lead, to be honest, but I shoot maybe 50 through it, and my hands are done.
Hey, Nathan, one place that you need to look into is American Reloading. They break down a bunch of military lots, and they've been using 380 a lot, and they'll have 4 or 5. You have to check it like every day, every other day. But they'll have lots of 500 pulled bullets, and they'll be like $60 for 500 pulled bullets, or $50, $49, whatever. And then they'll have the powder every now and then. You can buy pallets of powder from them, and then you can buy primed cases, and they don't charge a hazmat for them. They break it all down and sell everything.
That's not. Hey, that's not a bad deal. Mig, what happened was, back in the last time I was really, really hot and heavy into shooting, I was getting cases. I was getting brass from down at the range, and I was going through and sorting it and cleaning it and doing all that. And then I was trading it for lead on the cast bullet forum. But then, like, everybody started selling and trading brass. So, and I kind of fell a little bit out of it. So now I don't even know if the market's even there to be able to do it. I'm trying to get something set up right now with somebody who has a tire shop. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, down here we still have lead wheel weights, and I'd love to get that. But I'm thinking that I might just have to try to find ways to raise the $65 to buy boxes from what's her name on the cast bullet forum. Anybody else know what I'm talking about? Anyway, I bought lead from her before, but that's probably the route I'm gonna have to take, or maybe find deals on eBay and stuff. I mean, flat rate shipping's made this a lot easier. But
hey, Nathan, come up to my house and help me sort some wheel weights, and you can take a 5-gallon bucket home with you.
That, brother, I'll be honest with you, man, that is almost like financially like reasonable. Not to mention I need to go shoot and do other stuff too. Screw around. It's not a bad idea, man, especially during the fall. I'd love to get up there and hang out.
All right, here's some of what I'm talking about from American Reloading. It's a 144 grain, 30 caliber tracer round. All you got to do is load it with some pretty hot powder. Yeah, it's got a couple little marks on it where it was pulled, but all in all, the bullets are in perfect shape. And I got this box of 250 tracer rounds. I think it was $35. It's just where they're breaking down military lots because the military is not going to use them.
Yeah, it's funny the test that we did with our K31 when I shot like a sub MOA group with it. We were using bullets that had been pulled out of something. I don't remember what, 30 cal bullets. We pulled them out with dikes. I don't think we did it. I think we got them that way, maybe. Anyway, they had dike marks in them. And
Right.
We're like, the hell with it, whatever, loaded them.
The barrel smooth that shit out.
Yeah, and with like rando powder, just some shit that was like laying around, had something at the bottom of this thing. You dump this in, boom. And I couldn't figure out what that load was if I tried to now. But it is funny how that sometimes that works, man. I've gotten lucky like that before. Surprisingly, I think 30-31 has a tendency to get lucky like that, especially if you're shooting kind of a, I'm not gonna say reduced, but a lower load. It seems to be pretty good for accuracy at lower loads for me.
I think from the chat, the Scotsman hit 1,500 subscribers, guys.
Holy crap! Congratulations, brother.
There's that many people that care about you.
That's awesome. Hey, man, you know, it's funny to say you deserve subscribers because, you know, it's kind of an odd deal. But, man, the work you put in and all the stuff you do for the community, you know, if we could turn those 1,500 subscribers into a couple dollars in your pocket, which I don't know if you can, I think you deserve that. For dang gone sure.
One thing that I do know is the subscribers that I do have are actually good people because I'm pretty damn personally familiar with all of them. And I wouldn't trade you guys for anything. I mean, you know, you can have 25,000 subscribers, only know 2 of them, and you ain't gained nothing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's the Uncle Jim theory. You know, I'd rather have 200 that I know than 10,000 that I don't. And I agree, man. This has been amazing to me. Find all you guys and for us to all sit around and be able to BS and you know, talk it out and get to know each other and share our war stories, because when it comes to reload, man, there's tons of them, that's for sure.
Scotsman, I'll say this much about this thing right here, man. Just moving it up and down, it's smooth as butter. As long as it don't leak, we'll be golden.
Jamie just can't wait to play, can you?
I can't, man. Heck dang. Get a new toy, you know.
I hear you. Mine should be here around Wednesday, I think.
Oh, yeah. So Scotsman's at 1,400, and Mig was asking about a 1,500 giveaway.
Okay.
Still 14, man. That's just, you know, that's right around the corner.
Guns and Glory ain't been doing it that long. He's already up to nearly 300, he was saying.
Good. Wow.
I know.
It took me months to get to, and I'm just getting to 300 just the other day. But I've noticed that lately, I mean, I've noticed where my videos would be recommended even to me. So I don't know what I've done to enter it into the YouTube algorithm, but I've picked up a few subscribers over the past week or two.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, but
my Shooter's World video. That's actually on when I go to YouTube and I go click on home, and you know how you scroll them up on your phone. It's in there. That thing has gotten. It's been up what 2.5, 3 weeks now, and that sucker's got like 130, 140 views. Who knew, man? Apparently, there's a lot of people interested in Shooter's World powders because they're a little cheaper, but nobody's willing to jump off into it and give it a shot. So
we're gonna need to drive up North Georgia Reloading and buy an assortment, Jamie. You've got yours, and I'll get what we don't have, and we'll play around with that.
That heavy pistol powder will work great in that 44 Magnum.
Oh hell yeah!
it worked really good in my 357. So, and since I posted that video, there's been some comments from some other guys that have some of the different powders, and I can't remember all of them, but one in particular on the Reloaders Network. Y'all go check the Reloaders Network out if this is your first time watching us. But yeah, he
Nathan,
does.
Look at Chico Wise's question.
Yeah, I saw that. I was going to start with Vanessa Kitty has 230 subscribers. I'm not 100% sure if she's ever posted a video. So it's kind of awesome, like the way that the live streams work with us all becoming friends and getting to know each other and subscribing to each other's channel. That is pretty cool. There was something else there I wanted to say. Oh yeah, Meg, I'm not going to do a giveaway, brother. I've been behind on getting stuff out in the mail. In fact, I've got OP and Scotsman shirts I still haven't sent out because I was waiting to get the mailing address for the two other winners from my inline fab thing, but they're, for whatever reason, they're not going to send it to me, so I'm just going to have to get that stuff out. So yeah, no love on a giveaway for me right now. But yeah, Chico, no, I haven't, man. I've never shot. If I ever get like a crappy old chronograph that isn't working right, I think I'm going to put it in like a clay slinger. Maybe. I don't know. I've thought about that maybe, but
you have to do it with buckshot though.
Oh, absolutely. You know. Yeah, I haven't. I've never shot my chronograph. I've never even really come close. But I'm real persnickety. I shoot really high on my chronograph. So my reading sometimes I get a fair amount of errors because I don't shoot right over top of the sensor. I shoot up a little bit. Just a simple math teacher. Yes, ma'am. I understand that.
Every time she comes on, I call her Miss Kitty, and I start thinking about Gunsmoke.
Oh,
yeah. Absolutely. Just a simple barmaid.
I think it was last night. Jamie, if it wasn't last night, it was the night before. Me and Jamie were talking. He goes, "Yeah, you may have nicked your chrono, but Chico hit that son of a bitch dead center."
He did, man. I'll say this for Chico: when he does something, he does it right, buddy. And those videos, he's got something to make you laugh out loud. People turn around and look at you like you're crazy. What are you laughing at? And I'm like, I'm just watching Chico, man. Hey, that was a TV show, wasn't it? Chico and the Man?
Might have been.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Don't tell me y'all not old enough to remember Chico and the Man.
Don't know that one.
When you get as old as I am. Oh, sorry.
You're not that old. Come on, we're not that old, man. We're still young, virile and such.
Excuse them. Out of me. Yeah, rub it in today. I turned 56 today. Thank you so much.
Well, Jamie, I still consider that pretty doggone young, you know?
Well, it's a lot younger to me than it used to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Chico and the Man was Freddie Prinze.
Huh.
Yeah, it was his it was a sitcom. It was basically kind of like Sanford and Son, except for Hispanic. He was funny, man.
Yeah, I never saw it. I mean, I heard about him because of his son. But that's funny. Huh, never heard of it. It might have been on one of the channels we didn't get, man, because back in the day with the, we only got like 2 out of the 3.
Oh, when you still had the TVs that went ka-clunk, ka-clunk, ka-clunk,
of course.
when you changed channels?
Yeah, I'm old enough that when I was young, I was the remote control.
Oh, yeah.
And
you too?
Yeah, I thought my name was Damn It till I was 16 years old.
No, man, I'm Jesus Christ. He's Damn It.
Easy now, brother. Yeah, so turn it to channel 2, damn it. Oh, man. I was talking to my mom today and reminiscing, and she was talking about how she thought the best time of her life was. She didn't think so at the time, but back when all 4 of us, I had 3 younger sisters, and we were like doorsteps. And yeah, she said that probably was the best time of her life was when we were all babies, young kids running around.
She was willing to pull her damn hair out every single day, but now looking back on it, she had a good time.
She did. She did. And we were pretty good kids, man. I mean, we were. There was one night in particular. We were, we were a little bitty. I think I was like maybe 5, and my younger sisters. We didn't have much, when I was growing up, and probably still don't to compared to a lot of families. But it's what I told my mom. We might not have had anything when we were young, but we never questioned the fact that our parents loved us, and that's a that's a that's something you can't take that away, and you can't no amount of money can buy that. But
yeah, you can't put a price on that.
we were all. My mom and dad were in their room trying to go to sleep. We were all in our room, jumping up and down on the bed like Banshee Indians, just raising all kind of sand, man. All of a sudden, the bed fell off the slats. The slats fell out from under the bed, and the mattress and box springs went wham down on the floor. And I mean, it made a horrible crashing noise. And I jumped down under the covers and acted like I was asleep. And my 2 little sisters did the same thing. And about that time, the door flew open. There was both my mom and dad standing there. And we were all 3 we didn't discuss this or anything. This just happened. We were like, what happened? What happened? Like we were asleep and the bed fell. It's 1,000 miracles they didn't beat us to half within an inch of our lives. But they were laughing so hard they couldn't be mad at us.
They could tell by the fear in your voice and your face that you knew you done messed up.
Yeah, we were cutting up when we should have been asleep, and
that's funny, man.
And another story from when I was young, since it's my birthday and nobody's threw anything at me yet. What my grandmother used to call me every Sunday night and tell me, Jamie, now you turn on the Waltons. I want you to really pay attention to John Boy. She wanted me to grow up to be like John Boy. Let me tell you something. I'm the polar opposite of John Boy Walton.
That's funny. That is good stuff.
Yeah, man. I miss my grandmother. And I guess y'all probably don't want to hear this, but the toughest thing I ever did was preach her funeral.
I imagine.
But I did it, and I got through it. And my buddy Billy, that was my accountability partner, our assistant pastor at the church, he sang there. So I had him sitting there with me. So that was a good thing. But
yeah, that's a plus. Yeah.
Yeah. So he preached his daddy's funeral about 6 months ago. I told him, I said, I had one advantage you ain't going to have, brother. He said, what's that? I said, I have my buddy Billy sitting beside me. You ain't going to have me sitting up there. Because, Billy's our associate pastor. There's probably 500 people at his dad's funeral.
Oh, Lord. That's rough.
Yeah,
I miss the dancing girls too, James.
I was going to say something about, we had the halftime dancers on. Guns and Glory says he just got on as an author on the Reloaders Network. So I look forward to do some articles. I'm considering doing a couple more written articles. I look forward to reading what you got or watching what you got for sure. Mike Treen came in, buddy. I'm glad to see you. Fortunately, we're starting to wind down. We're getting a little bit close here with time, but glad you can make it out. Uncle Jim popped out of the birthday cake wearing nothing but the Reloaders Network patch. Woohoo!
I don't want to see that.
Too late.
Damn it!
You did. You already saw that. You watched that video to the end, didn't you?
Can I get a cheese grater to get that image out of my head?
No, man. You got to make like an Etch-a-Sketch. Just shake that shit off.
You can't shake that shit off.
Oh man, I thought that was a hilarious video. I'm behind on videos this week. It's gonna be a long day doing the the weekly recap on Sunday, man. I am so far behind on videos.
Yeah, you'll be watching videos all day tomorrow.
I am. Yeah, it's gonna be there's gonna be a lot of 1.25s and 1.5s. I can tell you that much.
Hey, get your ass up here and we'll make some meatloaf.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
I'm a meatloaf guy. How'd you know? That's my brand.
That's my brand.
Oh boy, yeah, we've I haven't got much done, man. We've had some. It's just we're at a weird point at work right now where we're doing some reorganizational stuff and trying to figure out what I'm going to be doing for a living, because this always seems to get shook up and changed and modified. And right now I'm fighting this push to try to get me back out on the road all the time, and I'm fighting like hell to keep it from happening, because it's, you know, that I've been doing that stuff. I mean, I was a flight engineer and a flying crew chief and stuff before then. So since I've been 2021, I've been on the road, and it's like I am just wanting to stay home. So that's why I've been doing that a lot lately, and a lot of long meetings. So I haven't got much done around here. I know that's a lot of excuses, guys. Trust me, because there's been nights when like Tuesday night, like 7:30, I fell asleep on the couch and I didn't wake up till damn near 10. So I've had time. I just haven't made it a priority to get in here and get work done. But it is on the list for sure. Miss Kitty, English, please. What happened?
I'm telling you, things are getting weird.
Yeah. I want to do more articles, more writing. But that one I did for the kickoff of the 35 Remington series, man, I studied that crap for 3 weeks. I mean, I tell you what I'd really like to do, and what I feel led to do is I kind of feel like I need to do a devotion once a month. If he had a place for
there's a category for religion and stuff, yeah.
I think that's what I need to be doing.
That would be cool. That would be really nice. Yeah, I would. Hey, Jamie, I don't mean to put anything on you, brother, but I'll tell you what. If you did like a battle room Bible study, I would much rather watch you do that than somebody else.
Right.
Well, I think the first requirement to do something like that is you got to get yourself out of the way and let the Lord do the work. Some people have egos, and well, let's tell the truth. We all have an ego. We all have an ego. It's just a matter of getting yourself out of the way and go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree that any written article seems to take, you know, here's the reality of it. Thinking about it from this side, my video should take the same amount of time as my written articles, but they don't, because I just don't put as much time into it, I guess. I don't know, man, because my written articles, like, I'm with you, man, they take me weeks to get one of those out. And I want to do a heck of a lot more of them, because I like the written word. I like reading thing. So I don't know. I'm thinking about doing one of the things I'm doing, and I don't know if I told you this. I think I said it in one of my videos, but I'm going to start a new series just reloading. Trying to fit everything in one. It'll be one video, hopefully around 15 minutes long, where I'm just reloading a caliber and kind of going through all the steps. And it wouldn't be a bad idea to have a companion piece that's like written for the details that I'm not able to hit in a 15-minute video. I don't know.
Right, because you're going to be cutting and pasting and all kinds of stuff. If you're starting from a blank turret to pumping out rounds, you're going to have to be moving to do it in 15 minutes. So
yeah, there's a lot of editing.
That's actually a very good idea.
Yeah, there's a lot of editing in that, brother. There's a lot of like, well, let's go ahead and trim the cases, and then I trim like one or two.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. You'll need the written part to explain what you're watching in the video. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. That'd be cool, but it'll take a minute to film and type and all that stuff.
Yeah,
that's my problem. I don't even have a damn computer at my house, so.
We need to get that taken care of, even if it's a Chromebook or something, man. We can get you hooked up with something. There's all kinds of There's all kinds of places, man. There that you can go get one of those things for, you know, 100, 150 bucks or whatever.
They sell reading.
You say, wait a minute, that's a Surface. That's like a $1,200. You got a computer. What you talking about, Willis?
I've got a Surface, but
man, you could work that out.
That's the only thing that I have as far as a computer, and my cell phone's about 5 times more powerful.
Yeah, especially the older Surfaces. They aren't. I had one. It wasn't exactly a powerhouse. My problem, what I couldn't do on it was, so that's why I got the laptop that I did from work, because I couldn't really do Excel spreadsheets. It was just too small. It was giving me super headaches. So I got this thinking it was going to be better, and it turns out it's just as bad. So like I need like a 15-inch laptop to be able to do Excel on. So I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, that's, man, I'll tell you, that'd be a different idea. And Jamie, I agree. Ego is like, man, if there's one thing, like if I look back at most of all of my mistakes, right, my big mistakes, they're all centered around ego. Almost all of them are. Whether I treated somebody wrong because I didn't want to look a certain way, or like one that I used to be really bad about is I would not ask for help, or I wouldn't even really try to learn something, like because I was afraid I'd look foolish in front of somebody. My ego just, that is a long road to hoe to get your ego beat back. It's like, I don't know. I don't think we're born with it, but man, we develop it fast.
I disagree. I think we're born with it. I think that's the human sin nature that we're born with.
Yeah, Vanessa, 17-inch would be even better, but my briefcase won't even hold one. It'll hold a 15. So that's probably what I'm going to end up rocking with. Is probably go and get 15 to do that. But yeah, Jamie, I don't know, man. It's just, it seems like, you know, I remember a time when there was less anxiety about how people felt. There was just my parents and maybe a friend or two around the neighborhood. And then when I started coming about my teenage years and I recognized that I liked women, ego just shot off like a bottle rocket. Like I started, you know, in that whole competing for everything all the time. And now I'm getting older. I'm trying to beat all that back.
Yeah, I know, man. I know. I live it every day.
Yes, Guns and Glory, that would be very, very appealing, very interesting, because that is very personal. What gun or why you started carrying is a very personal topic, and it's a great one to talk about, because people that carry because it's practical have a whole different outlook usually. Like Kyle's got like a little pocket 380 jammed in his pocket. It's a tool. It is an interesting topic. I totally think you should write about that. Absolutely.
Chico's wondering if he can write a article about being a new reloader and, you know, his journey from unboxing to producing ammo, if they'll allow it. Hell yeah, they'll allow it.
Yeah.
Write it up, man.
Yeah, that would be really good, just to get a perspective on it. Like, and then you can come back to that. This is one of the things I really like about written stuff, is you tend to have more of a, you can go back and look at it sometimes a little bit more realistically than you can a video. So yeah, go back, man. Like, see, like, I made absolutely just why you bought this, why you decided to do this, why you started to reload, why you started these calibers. Dude, absolutely. I totally recommend writing that. That would be a great thing to read. In fact, I don't know if you saw this. West Desert Shooter put out a video, and I know I did on my recap, about like how he got into long distance shooting. That is one of the best videos I have seen in a long time, because it shows you just how getting involved in something starts. Like, it's not a direct path, and it's cool, man. I would totally be down with a video or an article or a video about that.
It's really cool, because I want to hear the story. I know the story, but I want to read the story as to why you chose to go with a Dillon 650. And that's going to be an awesome story in itself. So hell yeah, Chico, put the shit out there.
It's funny. Now that, I mean, going with a Dillon 650 usually is against my better judgment. However, I can see where it would be useful, or not useful, but I can see where you could use that, where you could do that. Like you could buy a Dillon 650 and then like $100 single stage, and then learn on your single stage a little bit here and there, get some stuff figured out, and then hit that 650,
and then you're done,
and then be done. Yeah, and like I don't need to buy any more equipment for reloading.
Hell, I got 5 presses in the room that I'm in.
Yeah, well, you got a whole like parcel of damn Loadmasters, don't you?
Well, I got 2. I got one for 9mm and 40, and I got one for 223 and 300 blackout.
Yeah, that's the least sickness.
Well,
is that the equipment's so daggum inexpensive that everybody buys one for each caliber. I mean, I know you're not doing that, but that's what I mean. A lot of people do it.
Well, I mean, I'm not buying one for each caliber, but I've got one for each whatever the hell the shell plate works, and I've got a separate tool head for it. So,
yep. And think about you with the way you are with your Dillon. It's all about what size primer it is.
I ain't loading anything small primer on my Dillon ever again. That's straight up 45 ACP and then rifle rounds.
Yeah,
I got this other Lee sitting right here that's set up for 44 right now. I don't have all the stuff I need for the Dillon. Why buy it? Hell, I got it right here for the Lee. It came with a die set. So,
yeah. Hey, man, this Lee sets are a great value. Ozark Highland says if it ain't red, keep it in the shed. I'm not 100% sure which red. You talking about Lee? Talking about Hornady? You talking about old Pacific stuff? We talking about, well, Pacific was blue, and then there was even some Lyman stuff that was red at one time. I don't know.
I think he's talking about cars again.
It might be. But glad you could come out, Ozark. I appreciate it. Yeah, as far as, I mean, I don't have a huge desire to go get a full on. I'm turning my Hornady lock and load into a progressive type machine with the help of Meg. Meg's really doing that. He got me he got me the case feeder and a bullet die and bullet feeding die, and I'm gonna do that for 45 ACP. But if it wasn't for him, I mean, I would still be probably a year from doing that. And as it is right now, I got to get up and finish building the thing. But I never thought I was going to do a full progressive run. So I don't know, man. It's 650 is not a bad press, that's for sure.
Talking about tractors, International Harvester.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm an IH guy. I like IH. Yeah, Farmall. I think I think it comes from like my grandfather was a Cub Cadet, kind of International Harvester kind of guy, and anything that my grandfather approved of, I automatically assume is just gospel. Like, so if it's like, I mean, I've got like a Cub Cadet like push mower that's not even at all made by International now. But
I got one of those, a yellow push mower.
Yeah, got it from Tractor Supply. Works like a champ.
Mine used to be a self-propelled, but it's not anymore. It's a Jamie propelled.
My self-propelled still works though. I'll tell you, it's been a trooper, man. Past couple years, I got a small yard though.
Not me, man. I got about an acre and a half.
So that'd be hard to push. That's some good exercise for you.
I got a John Deere too.
So you built Guns and Glory says he's getting ready to build a 6.5 Creedmoor. Are you going to build are you building a rifle or are you?
I'm sorry, guys. I had to.
What'd you do?
Comment.
Man, I ain't seeing nothing. Oh. Third. Oh, okay. Nice. Well done.
I worked for Peterbilt. International ain't nothing but a 13-liter shit spreader. That's all they are. But they're really good at that.
Yeah. I don't know. Peterbilt makes a good track trailer. But I mean, if you're gonna buy a track trailer, you obviously need to buy a Mack, because Mack truck is the way to go.
Have you lost your ever-loving mind? You ain't never worked on none of this crap, have you?
Nope.
Okay, that's why you just like the bulldog sitting on the hood, like.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's waiting on the repairman to show up.
Yep.
So we can attack him like a mailman.
Is Chico still out there? Chico, if you're still out there, do you work on the diesel stuff too, or just gas, or does it matter? Just interested.
Hey, Armin, Axtis, glad you can make it, man.
Yeah, we're getting.
Hey, Double A, what's up?
Oh, so you're gonna Guns and Glory's talking about doing it in AR. That'll be interesting. Rob would be your man to probably give you a little bit more details on that.
That's what he did, isn't it? Didn't
Yeah,
he do it? I got to binge watch all of Moser's stuff.
yeah. Some good stuff in there, absolutely. And so Rob's doing some stuff with the house right now. He's rebuilding the kitchen, so he wasn't able to make it tonight. But if you want to message him on Slack or shoot him an email or whatever, and I'm sure he'll be up next week. You know, well, not next week. And now's as good a time as any. We got 24. As far as I know, guys, I have not double checked this, but I think the Reloaders Network is doing their Saturday night live stream next week, so we are not going to be on. I don't know who's hosting it. It's been loads of bacon, but I know that Josh over at 243 Outdoors has been talking about hosting it, so it'll be one or the other, I assume. I haven't seen an update on that. So we will not be doing our live stream this week coming up, but we will the week after. So you'll get a notification if you hit that bell thing down there or over there, depending on how you're looking at it.
And Chico's still out there. He's gasoline only.
Yeah. That's a more I just never I think those big trucks are really awesome. I just never got I don't know. I'm actually kind of glad I didn't get into it. It sounds like it's a pain, man. Like, can you imagine like all of that?
Well, let me
dust?
tell you, I built
Like,
transmissions for Chrysler and rebuilt engines for Chrysler for the last 20 years, and then branched out and got into big trucks, and I've done all kinds of diesel engine repairs, and I was the gear guy for a long time, rear ends, transmissions, you know, and heavy engine work. And I actually like working on big trucks better.
I would think getting close to one of those things, you just get covered up in brake dust, like immediately. Just walk up to it and touch it, and it's sort of like touching anti-seize. You just touch the bottle, and you're covered up with it immediately.
Well, you're not going to walk up to it in a tuxedo.
Well, man, what are you talking about? Of course you're not going to be a tuxedo, but I cannot. I always hated that when you get all up underneath your arms and just get.
Well, my thing is now I'm in the parts department, and I got my mechanics out there. Come out here and take a look at this. Here's a creeper. I ain't laying on that. You didn't used to have a problem laying on a creeper, right? That's when they were buying the uniforms instead of me. These are my clothes.
Word. Man, I tell you, it's funny because I got spoiled working on airplanes because I just didn't have to. I mean there's different types of people. There's the kind of person that could go into like a clean room and come out like, you know, complete grease head to toe, and then there's the kind of people that can, yeah. And I was always a relatively clean worker anyway. But working on airplanes was fine. I started doing building maintenance, and I'd come home every day, dude, and I'd just be dirt everywhere. There's no way around it, man. Everything's disgusting. No one cleans grease off of anything. It's just, I
used to work at a place where we actually had a driver's lounge with showers and everything else. I get off work, go steal one of the shower rooms, sanitize it with bleach and all that shit, and then I'd have to take a shower before I could get in the car to go home.
Yeah, that's the way. Honestly, that's the way I felt, man. When I was working out at Lowe's doing building maintenance, absolutely, I'd look like the Tin Man, just be covered up, man. It'd be completely different. Yeah, man. Anti-seize under molds. I've heard that's terrible. I don't know, because that shit does get everywhere, man. I'd be leery to do it.
Put anti-seize on your molds. What the hell?
James Pollard said, "Put on your," and I mean, he's got the experience, so I would say he's probably right, like on your bolt or something to keep it from mauling. But man, I'd be afraid to get, and I'd be afraid to open up a jar of anti-seize near my molds. That shit gets everywhere underneath your eyelids. Oh, Big Al came back in. Yes, that would be a tactical shower. In and out, man. Actually, you just turn all the shower heads in and you just start to finish, walk your way to the back and just go right into a towel. Tactical. Oh,
God dang it. Autocorrect.
Yeah, autocorrect can be a little bit difficult. Class A or no.
Vanessa's wanting a big truck to do towing with. I recommended the Ram 2500 with the Cumming diesel. She says
6.7 liters. Actually, if you can find a pre-2007 model with a 5.9 non-emissions diesel, you'll get about 24 miles to the gallon.
Wow.
But
she's looking at the Ford 750.
Yeah, that's a little bit bigger.
Sorry.
I don't know. I don't even know what one of those things looks like. I just imagine it's heavy.
Yeah, it'd be almost like the big trucks that y'all were talking about.
What are you pulling, Miss Kitty? What are you pulling?
All the chronographs that you're shooting.
Well, hell, I can do that in my damn car. I don't need a truck. I only shot one.
So far, the night's young.
Hey, Jamie, bring me your chronograph.
Oh, don't start.
Vanessa, what are you pulling? Why do you feel like you need a Ford F750?
I think she said up there in the comments, brother. I kind of quick read it because trailers with camping and hunt.
Why in the hell would you need a 750? That's what I'm asking. What are you pulling?
Trailer, home, gear, tents, equipment. So then, Vanessa, I would say then you're glamping is what I think the term is. If it weighs that much to go camping, then you're taking your house to outside. That is a lot. That is a big old truck.
F750 is a very large truck. It's going to have a Caterpillar diesel or what else are they running? Ford doesn't even make an engine to go on a 750. So you're looking at a Cummins or a Caterpillar or something like that.
Yeah, she says she's pulling the house.
Are you going to put wheels on the house? I mean, damn.
Okay, fair enough. Not glamping. I camp with a canvas. I wouldn't say anything. I was just saying that's a lot of stuff to carry out to be camping. But no, if you're just taking the mobile living at domicile, then I get that. There's some guys I see with some really. What gets me, I know about where you're living, so you're dealing with I think a little bit more mountainous range. But down here, I see guys, man, with some really rinky-dink ass trucks with some really big trailers on the back of them. Like a Chevy 1500, man, rolling around with a big old giant trailer back there. I'm like, how do you stop that thing?
Yeah, 43-foot triple axle.
Yeah. I mean, you can get it going, but how are you going to stop it?
It won't go over 40 miles an hour.
As long as what you're hauling has wheels, I would think that if you're a Ford girl, an F350 dually would be fine. If you're a Dodge girl, I'm positive, because I know from experience, a 6.7 liter Cummins diesel on a Dodge dually platform, and I wondered, you've got plenty of brakes, and the trailer that you're pulling is going to have trailer brakes, so that'll help.
Big Al, I love it, brother. I love it. That's great. Dude,
there you go.
Man, I'm still kind of the camping with a tent kind of guy. But
I use a hammock.
I'm wanting to get loaded cap gun into camping a little bit, so something's telling me I'm gonna have to spring for a camper eventually, because she's all I think she actually asked me, well, how do you shower? I said, well, that's not a consideration that I had.
Yeah, but if she shows up, all of a sudden it will be.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's something I'm gonna have to consider, brother. But I'm sure I'm moving more towards the $300,000 camper eventually, with the big screen TV and such. Actually, I've seen some of those cool ones, man. I know once again, we're going way off topic. Like this smaller kind of like little egg-like thing that's like a transformer. It's not like a pop-out, but it's, I don't know, man. They're kind of neat. Like there's some smaller ones now that they've really done a heck of a job of making them.
Oh yeah, little micro campers.
Yeah, making them more functional than the old pop-ups and all kinds of like
behind a Mini Cooper.
Not me, man.
I mean, you could.
That's awesome.
Not me, man. I ain't pulling that thing behind no truck of mine. I'm kind of like Vanessa. I want the mobile command center, you know.
Yeah.
And
No,
you know,
an F-750 is way overkill. I'm pretty sure that a F-350 or a Chevy or Dodge 3500 would be fine. Hell, if you're going with an F-750, you might as well go with that international pickup truck. Y'all remember when that thing came out where you had to have a ladder to step up on the fuel tank?
I love those things. I thought those were the neatest looking trucks ever. Y'all
Did you
remember
ever
the
prize
international?
one?
Y'all remember the International Scouts?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
A guy I grew up with and went to high school with. We were really good friends, and his dad had one that was about the size of a Suburban. It was like massive. It had a back seat in it and all that.
Yeah, we had my grandfather had an international truck that I don't remember, but a guy down the road had an international truck when I was a kid, and he lived right out by the beach. So everything he owned was rusted to pieces. But that was like the toughest truck known to man, and it had to weigh, I don't know, 10 tons, and he'd run out on the beach in the middle of the soft and just go, and never had a problem, man. Other guys getting stuck with everything. And I've heard stories of being able to like empty an entire bed full of stone and the springs don't even move. I've heard stories about how tough those things are. Yeah, an international truck. But I had a girl. There was a woman that I used to be friends with. She was a bartender. She had a Scout, nice one, man. Ended up rolling it one morning. She was did newspapers. So she got done closing up the bar, and then she'd go home and sleep for a couple hours, and she'd get up and go do newspapers. And she fell asleep and got into a ditch and rolled that thing, and they couldn't buy parts for it, so they ended up having to scrap it. Sad. It's a nice truck.
Damn.
Well, guys, let's go ahead and close up, man. It's 10 o'clock. Or just about. So I hate to cut everybody off. We're having a good show, and we've had 24, 25 viewers. I appreciate everybody. Everybody jumping on. I appreciate all the likes, guys. Sorry we got off topic a lot tonight. I don't know. It's kind of odd. It felt good and fluid, but at the same time, we talked about a lot of different stuff. So, you know,
that's what happens when you don't have a preset topic.
absolutely. Our preset topic just became whatever. But happy birthday to Willie. Happy birthday, Jamie. I'm glad you guys can make it out, and I'll shoot it off to the rest of the guys to give their good nights.
Okay, I'm going to be working on the trimmer video, and I'm going to be working on the Lyman powder measure video. Probably be working up 35 Remington Low 5 here soon. I got to get a video out to Scott over at Insight Freedom for his 750 subscriber video. The Scotsman hit 1,400. Congrats to him. Happy birthday to Willie. Glad you're going home tomorrow, Willie. We're just going to praise God for that.
It's not tomorrow. It's not tomorrow. I think you said the 24th.
Well, that's good news, man. I didn't know that, Willie. Congrats on getting back to the house. I'm sure you're going to be a busy man when you get back.
Yeah, he's going to. Never mind. I ain't going to say that. But yeah, I didn't have any videos come out. I think I've been 2 weeks since I've loaded a video. I got to get busy. Just don't have a lot of energy lately, but because after all, I'm an old man now. So
come on, you're not that old.
I want to thank everybody for all the birthday wishes, and thank you for coming by and visiting with us a little bit tonight. And I'm going to get busy doing some video. Nathan Loaded Cap Gun wants my address.
Yeah, I think I've got it somewhere written down. I think. If I don't, I know I have it in a message. She's a fan of birthdays, so.
Oh, me.
Guys, I want to thank everybody that stuck with us through all this because it was a rough journey. And I'm really glad that everybody did, because it was actually really fun. Yeah, we swerved this way. It was like driving on a North Georgia mountain road. You go here, you go here, you go here. But anyway, we all made it through it. And I want to extend birthday wishes again to Jamie and Willie. Glad everybody showed up. And Chico, we need to talk. I've got a couple of things going on. If y'all haven't checked out my meatloaf video, check it out. I think it's got the most views of any video I've ever posted.
That's good.
It was really good meatloaf too. But I've got Jamie, me and you really need to do this battleship shoot. We really do. Because it's going to be one very entertaining video, because I've got a very serious twist that you're not expecting. But we'll leave that hanging, and thanks everybody for joining.
All right. Well, we won't be on next week, but the Reloaders Network will be on with their chat on Saturday night, and we will be on the next week after that at our normal bat station bat time. So I appreciate everybody. Have a good night, and I'll see you later.
Bye, guys.